I've been addressing various arguments that are presented in an article that I saw recently that makes 50 or presents 50 arguments against the existence of God. And the fourth of those arguments is to think about science. The real gist of the argument is that the scientific method has the scientists look at an event and search for a natural cause for that event. When they find a natural cause, they have explained the event. Unlike, let's say, a Christian who prays for something and things seem to work out, and therefore he or she attributes that event to God. Instead, it's more logical to attribute that event to a natural cause. For example, let's say I pray that I get a job, or I'm looking for a job and I find a job. Instead of saying God is the cause of that, I should look and see that there are other natural causes that align to produce that effect. Or let's say I get sick and I pray that God will heal me of that sickness, and let's say it's a cold or it's the flu or something of that sort. So instead of attributing the healing of that illness to God, I should look for some type of natural cause. My immune system worked against it, or whatever, the medicines helped me or brought about a cure. So in other words, we should put our trust in science, or we should prefer a scientific explanation to a theological explanation. Is the gist of the argument. Let me say a couple things in response to this. First of all, I'm not opposed to looking for natural causes or explanations of things. I think that's perfectly understandable that a person would look for such natural causes. In fact, that's what science and medicine are based on, is the search for such causes. At the same time, however, I think that to reduce all causality to natural causes is not something that I think is the way we want to go. For example, let me give you a couple of examples of this. Every once in a while I see articles, like Time or Newsweek or various publications that will run articles on human emotions or human experience or human freedom. And they will explain human freedom or human emotions or human thought as nothing more than the result of the firing of synapses or the working of the brain. So when two people fall in love, or when a person chooses freely to do something, it's all just the result of firing synapses. It's all just the result of the working of the brain. So that would take someone like, let's say, Adolf Hitler, and the life of Hitler or some other evil person in human history is nothing but the result of the workings of the matter in their body. And the same thing with a Mother Teresa or someone else, that's an extremely giving person, or someone that loves to an extreme degree. That too should be explained as nothing more than the working of their brain. And so really neither one of them are good in the sense, in any objective sense at all. Certainly not in any commendable sense, because they're just doing what they have to do. Mother Teresa had to serve the poor and the dying of India, and Adolf Hitler had to exterminate millions of Jews and otherwise. That there's no responsibility, there's no choice that's involved in that, because there's physical activity that accompanies it. You see, I think there's a mistake here, and the mistake is that because there's natural causality, there's no other level of causality. Like right now, I choose to lift my hand, and I'm able to move my hand around. Surely there are physical causes that are part of that. There's electrical impulses going from my brain to my body through my nervous system, or whatever the scientific explanation of it is. There's all kinds of physical activity that's going on, but is that all that's going on? Is there not some deeper center of will and thought that is moving the matter, that is causing it to do what it does? I think most of us will agree that human experience tells us that there is an interior life. There's the life of the mind, there's the life of the heart, there's the life of the will, that also is intimately connected to the material world and allows us to move it, allows us to change it. So that great people that have lived in human history, we can think of people of our own time. I mentioned Mother Teresa or John Paul II or Martin Luther King Jr. or whoever you want to name, a person that has done great things in the world. It's not just that their matter caused them to do that. It's that they are heroic instances of people who rose to an occasion, who responded to their material environment and to the world around them and to the people around them, responded with love and openness and generosity and self-giving and determination and conviction. And all of these are things that are not just material things. They are deeper. They're intellectual things. They're things of what we might call transcendentals, the experience of beauty and goodness and truth. So the atheist view, and this is a recurring pattern, at least in my mind, in the arguments that we're looking at, the atheist view of things is too small. It's reductionistic. It wants to reduce things to just material processes, when in fact our experience tells us that life is richer than that. It's more profound than that. And more meaningful than that. If the atheist is right, then life is nothing but the outworking of matter, and that our consciousness of freedom and other such things is just an illusion, that it's not real at all. And in fact, I've got plenty of atheist books around me right now that make exactly that argument, that it's all just matter in motion, and that the experience of freedom and self-consciousness and so on are just illusory experiences that don't tell us about anything more than just material processes that are going on in the world. And I think that's just wrong. And if we think introspectively, if we look at the interior life, and that's another very, very important point that I would encourage the atheists and others to think about, is that the atheist tends to focus on the external, on the surface level of things, just the physical causality of things, rather than seeing that there's another deeper layer of human experience and of the world, the spiritual dimension that moves and directs and guides and affects and sometimes clashes with the material world. And that's where we locate these questions about meaning and goodness and purpose and why of things and all of that. So I think, again, we have the appeal to natural causes is an appeal to a reductionistic view of the world. Instead, we should see the world as richer and deeper and more meaningful than what the atheist offers to us.